What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. On my morning stroll to work, when the weather permits here in Metro Detroit, I usually walk to work. So I try to use my car as little as possible, and it's one of the reasons why I actually wanted to have my office. Woo! There go another Anton right there. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to have my office in downtown. Actually, we in the district, Detroit. So whenever you see any of this is Little Caesars Arena. That's the Mike Ilitch School of Business, a part of Wayne State. My office is actually in Midtown Detroit, which is a short walk that way, and then downtown Detroit is that way. So just giving y'all a little bit of insight on what it is that I see every morning here in Detroit. Lifestyle changes, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get started, make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. In addition to that, make sure that you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I re-uploaded the webinar as a video instead of as a link. So we did it live. We did it as a live stream. And in the webinar, we broke down specifically how it is that you can leverage social media in order to make a lot of money. It's not the new frontier, but it is certainly the thing that you need to tap into. Even if you're not looking to do it on YouTube or anything like that, instead of just posting every day, just regularly, you need to be able to leverage it in order to really make a lot of money in corporate America. You can market yourself on the way to the top, how it is that you can utilize it in order to really expand your business. It's a lot of different ways to make a lot of money. Most people is just on social media. Very few people know how to extract the resources as a result of it. So make sure you tap into the Patreon and check out that, along with all of the uncensored interviews, all the exclusive content in there, mastermind sessions, interview like a king, 8 things that I look for in order to invest in the stock market. All of that content is there. Also, I'm about 60 days out from relaunching my new website because there's a lot of things that I wanted to include in it. And it had to be a great user experience. And then shortly thereafter, it's a possibility that we probably gonna launch the app. So tap into that. Also, Alpha Juice Company, they are a part of my journey. Alpha Juice, go to the website, order the Alpha Juice. But don't order it without the discount code. So put Anton in if you're just ordering your Alpha Juice. I drink it every morning, well, every afternoon, because I wake up really, really early. I drink it every afternoon, have a regular meal, and then it's lifestyle. I make sure that I work out every day at the gym. I try to walk everywhere that I go on a regular basis, except for the weekends, things like that. So make sure you support the sponsors of the show, as well as tapping into the Patreon for your own benefit. Now, let's back up for a minute, okay? And I always have these thoughts, and I actually like doing these walks in the morning and then recording my thoughts because I can get it out. Because I got so many different things on my mind. And one of the reasons why people aren't successful in life in general, in anything that they do, is because they're doing it for them. You should do it for you, but often at times we don't really value ourselves the way that we should. And if you ever want to step outside of the monotony, the reoccurring failure that you experience every day as far as not being able to be consistent, not getting to the gym, not being able to upload regularly, not being able to get to work on time, you have to do it for somebody other than yourself. Now let me explain that to you, because when my daughter was born in 2008, I was literally in the middle of probably one of the worst years of my life at that time. For those of you that has been on this journey with me, you know that I had lost my job. The 2008 recession was brutal. And I moved back into my parents' basement and everything. Fast forward to today, I'm in the best space that I've ever been in my life, ever, right? But here's the thing. One of the things that propelled me to be successful was my family. My daughter specifically was born. And I remember standing in the hospital room, and I was holding her in my arms, and I just told her, I spoke to her like she was a grown adult. As an infant, I was the first person to hold her, and I told her, I said, you know what? You're never gonna really need or want for anything. I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that you're successful. What a lot of people don't understand from a macro and a micro level is that we don't really care about ourselves as much as we care about the people who surround us. It's the reason why on social media you do stuff for social media. You clout chase, you post fake pictures that's not even really what it is that you got going on, not really your cars, not really your money. You're not really having that good of a time wherever it is that you are in the world. And we clout chase. We really do. We clout chase on an epic level. And it's because we care more about what everybody else thinks instead of what we doing specifically. Now, the thing about that is, even though it's bad, you can leverage it. And in order to really leverage it, you need to understand what it is that you're dealing with. So for example, I was talking to somebody yesterday on a coaching call, and they have everything. I mean, they have everything in their arsenal that would allow for them to be incredibly successful. Way more talented than me, way more well-spoken than me, way more marketable than me, but they won't ever be as successful as me if they don't leverage what that is and they leaning on their talent in order to get by in life, but they're not really thriving, they just surviving, right? Just surviving. Doing just enough to be able to get by, but it's a travesty because you have a God-given gift and talent that you're not utilizing to its potential, and it's an insult to the people that don't have it. For me to be successful, and it's one of the reasons why I highlight that I'm a C student, that I'm very much the average person. For me to be incredibly successful in life, I had to work my ass off every single day, and I still do, and I don't let up. But in a way, that gives me an advantage over you because you leaning on your talent instead of leaning on the things that'll allow for you to really, really blow past me, and you'll never beat me. And it's unfortunate because somebody is waiting, because when I was talking to them, they was telling me that their purpose was to other people, help other people, and so on and so forth. And I often tell y'all on the Millionaire Morning Show, make sure y'all tune into the Millionaire Morning Show today. I often tell y'all on the Millionaire Morning Show that you got to be selfish before you selfless. Meaning, you can't help anybody until you get yourself together. You can't help anybody until you're rich. You can't really pour out of an empty cup. So don't ask me what it is that you can do for me if you're not as rich as me. You need to get to that level so that we can then network effectively and then be able to pour into other people. But it's somebody that's waiting on you. It's somebody that is literally holding on for dear life, and you're supposed to be that beacon of light. You're supposed to be the person that propels them to be successful. You're supposed to be their mentor at some point in life, in a distant future, when you get yourself together. But you do them a disservice, and you won't actually fulfill your purpose, which then prevents them from being what it is that they're supposed to be, because it's all supposed to be interconnected. We're all a part of that avatar tree, and that we're all interconnected. Humans can't exist without other humans. And so as a result, because we're all interconnected, what you do then affect other people. And it's somebody somewhere waiting on you to get your life together, to get yourself together, because you're supposed to pour into them. From a macro level and a micro level. From a direct, what's going on, big dog? From a direct perspective in that, you know, maybe it's your kids, your future wife, so on and so forth, your unborn kids, all the way into that young man that you say you care so much about the black community, but you a nuance. You're nothing. You're a vapor. You're not actually anything, because the only thing that you've ever thought about is yourself. And when I say think about yourself, you only think about how you feel. You're not thinking about how your actions is not only hurting other people, but then you preventing other people from being successful, because you're supposed to be more than what you are. You're supposed to be a king. You're supposed to be great. You're supposed to be a queen. You're supposed to be awesome. But you so focused on how it is that you feel and trying to make yourself feel good, but that you ain't never really fulfilled your purpose. And it's unfortunate, because somebody else that could have really, really used you, really, really leveraged what it was that you stood for, really, really could have been impacted by what it is that you got going on, they not gonna get it. They'll never do it. They'll never ever be able to leverage you, and you'll never ever be anything more than just a person that came on this earth and took up air for no reason. You took up good oxygen. You had all of that talent. God blessed you tremendously with things that some of us will never have because we all unique. It's the thing that makes us different. I don't want to be equal. I want to be different. I like variety. I like talking to people that come from different places, that look differently than me, that see things differently from me. That's where our experience comes from. That's where our human interaction, that's what makes life enjoyable. And because you didn't leverage the thing that made you unique, that God gave you because you were so focused on looking at other people and focusing on what they had instead of focusing on what makes you great and leveraging that and mining that out. You literally an X-Man. You a mutant. And instead of looking at what your powers are and developing that power, you looking at everybody else and you saying, why not me, God? You him, you that, you it. But you don't want to embrace what makes you unique because you're so focused on what everybody else is saying and everybody else is doing. And you ain't never ever developed your talent or your gift. And you ain't never stuck with something long enough to actually make it work for you. And it's unfortunate. But that's just life, right? How many of us have died with phenomenal talents that could have been used by somebody else that would have actually appreciated them, leveraged them, and used them for good? Don't tell me you love me. Don't tell me you love God unless you love yourself first, and then you do the thing that's in your own best interest. That's going to then help me. That's love. That's real love. The only way that you can show you love God, because if God is omnipotent, if God is all-knowing, if God is phenomenal, if God can do anything, if Jesus himself could have called legions and angels to come and rescue him and smite his enemies, but he chose not to, that means that God don't really need you. We do. The way you show you love God is to love his people, the people that he put on this earth that's interacting with you right now. When you get done praying, then go do something about it. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to stop right there because I can actually talk for another half hour. But I'm going to stop right there, and I hope that gets your morning started straight. Make sure you tap into the Millionaire Morning Show. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top to the Patreon. And then get your Alpha Juice Company. I'll holler at you later.